Hey, welcome back to another playthrough of Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last we left off, we were still in the middle of investigating what happened to poor Cosma. Sherlock Holmes is also here half the time. We think he's helping. I wish he hadn't been thrown out like that. I wish he managed to find some clue as to what that speckled band might be. We didn't manage to investigate at all. And I imagine they won't be able to for a while longer. We'll never get past that sailor guarding the door. Oh, wait a minute. What is it? Well, what happened to our great detective friend? Where'd he go? Yes, he's completely disappeared. When did he do that? Yeah, I looked at his mousetrap before, I guess. Doesn't even look like it locks from this side. I guess it's fine. What? Why you look like that? You want something? Hmm? Maybe you want me to throw you out again, hmm? Oh, no, definitely not that. Next time I have to throw you out, I show you where lobsters spend winter. Understand? Understand? Don't forget him. Think you ever forget your face now, Hodo-san. He gets back to the room, it is. Our cabin is Kazuma-sama's. Sorry. Your accommodation is confined to the wardrobe inside the cabin. You know how to make a stowaway feel small, don't you? As small as the wardrobe I've been calling home. Anyway. I wonder if Inspector Hosonaga has managed to uncover any new clues. Yes, we should probably find him and ask. Looks like they're still investigating in here. Yes, on that subject. I wonder if Inspector Hosonaga is unscathed. What do you mean, unscathed? Sure you haven't forgotten, have you, Naruhodo-san? Don't you remember what he said about allowing you out of this cabin to investigate? He's going to talk to the captain about it. He said he'd lay his life on the line for you. Oh, yes. I'm sure he was exaggerating. Let's see what he has to say for himself. Ah, you're back. Inspector! What happened to you? Your face is... Please, don't worry about it. They're just scratches. When I told the captain that I'd given you permission to investigate, he told me he'd pummel me with his fist and then toss me overboard. What? But the pummeling was over in a flash, and he must have decided against throwing me overboard. So it was nothing, really. Here, bro, Hosanaga. Well, thanks to your efforts, we now know a little about the neighboring cabin. Yes, so I understand. Oh? I bumped into a man claiming to be a great detective a little while ago. I think his name was something like Sherlock Holmes. I don't think he was German, though. Shall I compare notes, then? We can tell you what we found out. Yes, let's do it. What? Nikolaya Pavlova? She's in the cabin next door. Oh, do you know who she is? Please. What self-respecting ballet fan wouldn't know that graceful angel? Well, that tells us the neighboring cabin is unrelated to the case, at least. Oh? How? Because angels don't go around committing crimes, do they? Inspector, has your investigation in here proved fruitful? If I'm honest, there's very little more I can do. Our duty is to make sure the scene isn't disturbed, ready to hand over to the Hong Kong police. So I'm just keeping watch here. Try not to take my eyes off the job. Oh, I see. There is one thing. I do have a small piece of new information for you. Oh, what? Yes, do tell us, Inspector, please. What's this new information you have, Inspector? It's this. The Bureau's medical officer has finished its examination of the body and managed to obtain the report. Oh. Kazuma's post-mortem report? Kazuma-sama? So, what was the cause of death? Damage to the cervical vertebrae is what's written in the report. His neck was broken? Yes, it would seem so. There are no obvious wounds or other signs of injury. So at first, I think they were considering poison. But it turns out they found no trace of poison in his system at all. Well, what weapon was used then? Nothing has been found as yet, but the fact that there are no signs of a wound suggests this may have been a blunt object, something that wouldn't leave a mark. Oh, I see. All the body's nerves run through the spine to the brain. A strong enough impact to the neck could induce death. It is a possibility, but no obvious wound would be left. I have a second copy of the report. If it might be useful, you're welcome to have it. Really? Are you sure? Yes, it's fine. I trust you. After all, if I didn't trust you, I'd never have agreed to you leaving this cabin in the first place, would I? Yeah, you would have gotten beaten up for nothing. Oh, Mr. Jones was here, was he? Was he? Yes, he seemed to be enjoying himself a little too much as he crept out on the floor investigating. But then he suddenly left. I suppose he must have become bored. Did he say anything at all? Actually, now that you mention it, yes. Just one thing, but he practically shouted it. It's shoe polish! Was all he said. Shoe polish? I wonder what he meant. It was when he was over there, by the broken piece of glass. A piece of broken glass, you see? Perhaps he was talking about this brick-colored mark, you think? Yes, that must be it. But how can Mr. Sholmes know that's shoe polish? That leaves me cold, I'm afraid. I have no idea. What's this, Hisato-san? Well, Hazuo-sama was wearing leather shoes with a very dark tan hue. Dark tan? Yes, a little like the color of red wine, but darker. I often repaired them for him. Oh, does this mean? It's quite a slip. That's really all I can tell you at this stage. I should return to my post. My fellow crewmen's eyes are boring into the back of my head. Yes, that might be for the best. Thank you. Poor Inspector. You look exhausted. Oh no. Well... I feel terrible that I failed to protect Kosogi-san. He was my responsibility. Of course, my pain is nothing compared to yours. You're his friends. The truth is, I seem to have had a heavy head ever since I woke this morning. A heavy head? There's something new to look at. Diary. You, where did you go? Oh, sorry, I just went to the next door cabin to investigate. Why? Who gave you permission for this? Well, I mean, Seaman Hosonaga did. The new Japanese, was it? Later I will roll him into a ball and throw him in cold room. I hope Inspector Hosonaga doesn't find himself in too much trouble on our account. He's gone out of his way to help us, hasn't he? When we get back to Japan, we'll have to take him for a stake at Le Carnival. That could be a very long time from now, Haruhodo-san. Will he even last that long with that cough of his? Right, that's the most suspicious part. I'm sure the further we move on to this case, the sooner we can say hello to our little friend. I'm sure I already looked at everything. Look now, Haruhodo-san! Strong is gone! Strong enough? The burly Russian sailor who's always crossing his arms and glaring at us? All these Russian names are impossible to remember. Did you hear that? Who could that be? Oh, it's just Sholmes. This Carolyn. I know that lark-like voice. Well, never mind that now. This is a golden opportunity for us. Yes, you're right. Let's seize it. Let's get inside Miss Hiloa's cabin while we can and investigate. Definitely. Before that stringy knot crewman comes back. It's stroganoff, not stringy knot. Oh, there he is. Just right off camera. Oh, it's Mr. Holmes, look! Oh, you never know where he's gonna turn up next, do you? He used to be stealing a look at something as he sings himself. I did it the great detective way. He's still singing. Do you think he hasn't noticed us? Or he's simply in extremely high spirits? I don't know if this is supposed to have a specific melody. Because I can hear luck was about. Excuse me. Mr. Sholmes! What is it? You want to fight? Hmm? Honestly, interrupting a fellow while he's singing. I was just about to reach the climactic finish. Sorry, I thought you were never going to stop, so I figured now is as good a time as any. Let me drop you to the floor with one of my famous right hooks. Alright, I get the picture. Hey, could you put those fists away? Mr. Sholmes, you seemed to be examining something before we interrupted you. Ah yes, that. I was immersed in the study of the ship's log, as penned by the stuckily built crewman who's usually on guard here. Oh yes, the ship's log. And did you find out anything useful from it? Well, after 2 AM this morning, the majority of the entries are blank. Which means that there's nothing to report. Nothing on the pattern, so... You truly are a student from the land of the rising sun, even utterly blinded by it. Sorry. Your logic, my boy, is inverted. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Observe the other pages, and all shall become clear. You would seem the same crewman off-stands this entry in this first-class passageway. It's almost religious practice of recording nothing to report every half hour. Oh, he writes that in every 30 minutes? Nothing to report? Precisely. But simply the seaman writes nothing to report when there's just that. And yet... Ship's log from last night is largely blank. He didn't even write nothing to report. Do you mean? Yes, there were circumstances afoot last night, which led to the seaman being absent from his post. I know circumstances. What happened? That remains a mystery for now. We can be sure something significant took place. So significant that it caused the seaman to forget his regular habit of scribing nothing to report in the log. These are important details. I will stake my life on it. You must log the ship's log in your mental file. Ah, you're starting to understand what my way is, I see. What makes Sholmes Sholmes? Brilliance. Oof, ouch. What is it? Are you hurt? Oh, don't worry yourself. I seem to be afflicted with a throbbing head this morning for some reason, nothing more. Well, my friends, until our next encounter. Is something wrong, Sato-san? You seem lost in thought. It's just... well, I feel the same. Sorry? Ever since I woke this morning, I've had something of a headache. Sort of continuous throbbing. Oh, you too? That's certainly suspicious. Stay home. Misato-san. Oh. Hey, what are you doing? Those are her private things. There's not a moment to waste now, Hoda-san. You must investigate as quickly as you can. I suppose you're right. For Kazuma's sake. Not just for Kazuma-sama. What do you mean? It can't be long now until you arrive at port. In Hong Kong. I don't want you to be in those handcuffs when we get there. Really? You must solve this case now, Hoda-san. For ourselves if we have to. Yes, we will. Look at this teapot. It seems this teapot is empty. The natural conclusion is that the Russians are very thirsty people. Or because Miss Pavlova only came into this cabin last night, she hasn't had the chance to make any tea yet. I mean, it could be either. It's definitely that they're excessively thirsty. I'll take 1,000 to 1 on it. You're rather obstinate, aren't you? No, Hoda-san. I wonder what this little saucer's doing on the floor. Yes, it doesn't look like it's been dropped. Like it was put there deliberately. Do you think? Do you think there could be a leak in the roof just above here? A leak? Is the ship quite safe? I'm sure that even if there's a little leak in the roof, it doesn't mean the whole ship is going to sink. No, you're right. Of course you're right. They're just looking at stuff. But it's perfectly fine to go through her clothes, said Hato. See, there you go. I guess, to be fair, she just got here. I didn't have much to throw away. Yeah, I thought so. We're still talking about pets, but don't really call her special friend. Is it really that weird that they're toppled over? There's no bookends or anything to keep them upwards. If we got all the space on the shelf, of course they fell over. And that's just sad. Don't throw people or animals overboard. This is too much. And sometimes you just forget your key. It helps. They're not even magical wardrobes, why would I do that? Uh-oh, alarm. Emergency? Let the sound engines immediately! Missile sighting at a quarter-mile 4. Full stop! Hard to starboard! All hands brace for impact! What the? I think we're about to crash into another ship. What? I can't stand! Sota-san! Hold on to me! Sota-san, are you alright? Are you injured at all? I think I'm fine. Thank you, Naruhodo-san. Looks like we avoided a collision. I think. Yes, the ship has come to a stop. Oh my goodness, what about you, Naruhodo-san? Are you hurt? No, I'm fine. Is anybody in there? Shout if you need assistance. Oh, that sounds like... Inspector Hosonaga. Is it you in there, Naruhodo-san? Unbolt the door, quickly. What? The bolt? Look at that! The door's bolted. Did you do that to Sato-san? No, I didn't touch it. Well, that's strange. What a... And... Yeah, everything's a mess in here. No, Hoda-san. Aren't you going to open the door and let the inspector in? A violent emergency stop had solved one mystery at least, in a very vivid way. But no doubt what awaited us on the other side of the cabin door would not be pleasant. I hurried around tidying up the cabin with a new sense of foreboding in my heart. Somehow, the door to the cabin we were in ended up bolted after we made an emergency stop. Salta-san took a deep breath, and gently slipped back the bolt. You! What are you doing in Miss Pavlova's quarters? Oh, you both look unhurt. Good. Yes, we're fine, thank you. What on earth happened? We heard something about how we were going to collide with another ship. Yes, it appears to have been a false report, though. Oh, how did that happen? There's a dense fog outside, so it's extremely difficult to see. Someone must have thought he saw a ship ahead. This person obviously triggered the alarm, and that's why we made an emergency stop. Everything is chaos. Passengers are screaming. We are running everywhere. This first-class area is the only quiet part of the ship at the moment. Oh, I see. You wicked intruder! Mr. Not Black, you are the devil! Sorry? Me? Open my traveling case! How could you? What? No, we didn't touch it! That's right, Miss Pavlova. It was already open when we came into your cabin. Inspector? Yes. Arrest this man! I know he did it! He's a criminal. Is it not enough that he has killed a man? Ah, and he's a stowaway as well. If Vixen promises not to steal chicken, do you believe? Take him away! He's a trespasser as well as everything else. Stowing away, trespassing, killing. He is right, you are devil. He's still below deck. Throw him in. Tomorrow we talk in Hong Kong. Then we give you straight to police. Wait, a cell? Please, Inspector Hosonaga, is there nothing you can do? This is a Russian vessel. I really have no jurisdiction here. After my last effort to appeal to the captain's good nature, I think I'm out of options. This is terrible. Oh, these Russians. Why are you throwing me? Jones, what the heck are you doing? What the? What are you doing up there? Mr. Sholmes? Naturally, I was analyzing what a weight of 20,000 rubles feels like on one's head. I've not told you that as a detective. It is my business to know what other people do not. This is a mere tomfoolery, my boy. Oh no. Well, why were you hanging from that hook before then? Isn't it obvious? To properly assess the weight of 20,000 rubles, naturally. I wish to determine if it would bend that conceited looking hook on the wall, so for brag and bounce. You again. The great detective. Inspector. I confess I've been looking for you. I have something to report to you most urgently. Will you try looking for me somewhere other than a hook on the wall next time? What is the report? Speak. An urgent report from a great detective can mean but one thing. Yes. The case of the curious murder that took place last night, here on this vessel, the steamship Broya, has been solved. By me, naturally. What? Really? Yes, I have eliminated all other possibilities. No other explanations exist. So, allow me to eliminate all your minds. For I'm about to reveal my great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case. We'll see how great it is. You're salty. Even Hedgehog understands this case. We all know who was responsible for killing student boy this morning when he found criminal in wardrobe. It's this stowaway. He has handcuffs to prove it. I didn't do it. The trouble is, there doesn't appear to be anyone else who could have killed the victim. As everyone knows, the cabin door was bolted shut from the inside. That means the culprit must be someone who is inside the cabin. Yes, this was called a locked room mystery in detective stories. The locked room. That is point. The room was locked. You are quite mistaken. The cabin next door. It's not a so-called locked room at all. What? Oh yes, there's another entrance. An entrance used last night by the culprit in order to gain access to the cabin despite the bolted door. What other entrance? We never discovered one. Why, he keeps open mouthed even as he speak. The ventilator, man. The ventilator? You think this is funny? I cannot even put my arm through that hole. You're suggesting that the culprit entered and left the victim's cabin through that tiny opening. It's not possible. But it is. And last night, the victim even witnessed the intruder in the act of passing through the ventilator. Mr. Sholmes, do you mean... Are you referring to the words Cosmo-sama wrote in his diary? At 23 AM, I can hear a faint whistling sound. 1:35 AM, looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator, Joe. Precisely, my dear madam. What does it mean? What is this speckled band? The answer to that particular conundrum is in this very cabin. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? Trying to punch a ghost? There's a distinct element of danger, but fear not, I am ready. What I'm about to expose for you all to see will shock you to your cores. Behold! Oh shoot. The band. Allow me to introduce you all to the band. The Speckled Band. A snake? Indubitably. Snake! Mr. Sholmes, just one thing. Ray, what troubles you? Well, that snake isn't really speckled, is it? Looks more stripy, wouldn't you say? Hmm? Yes, you're right. I think in this case you have to call it the striped band, wouldn't you? You both see and observe, with distinction. However, do you not think that is precisely the trap into which the culprit wishes you to fall? Oh my goodness, really? It's a trap? I think perhaps it's time I explain the intricacies of my train of thought. Are you ready, Miss Pavlova? I'm sorry for the young man who died. That is all. This death has nothing to do with me. The whole thing has nothing to do with me. There are two conclusions I have drawn from the facts. Number one. Last night, your friend infiltrated the victim's cabin. And number two. That same friend was responsible for the victim losing his life. No. This young woman's friend killed Mr. Asogi. I would advise as little movement as possible, Seaman. You don't want the fangs of that long friend in your neck. So everyone, let us begin. Sherlock Holmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. This stuff has nothing to do with me. This whole thing has nothing to do with me. Yet you cannot deceive yourself. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. That is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. So we might ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on that pretentious night? Why, naturally, it was the friend with which you boarded this vessel, was it not? As I suspected, another telltale glance. Without doubt, your friend is the riding serpent we see before us. Or is it? And yet, that fact leaves us in a quandary. The victim's written observations on the night in question tell of a speckled band. But regrettably, the specimen's markings do not fit that description in any way. What explanation can we give, Bray? What was this sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night? No, don't look at me. This has nothing to do with any of this. Oh, but it does. You have the answer to this quandary even now, hidden behind your back. Yes, that which you're trying, but failing to conceal, can only be the snake's soft skin. Evidently, after the sullen, horrible crime, this most deadly friend of yours. Ted's original skin. No?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Last night, through the ventilator visible in this cabin, there then speckled ventilator next door. Using the bell cord on the other side as a bridge, the serpent silently descended into the victim's quarters. In the dim light, it appeared to the young gentleman who was about to lose his life as a speckled band. In summary, the nature of this friend of yours, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a rare breed of snake, whose markings change each time it saws its skin. A snake so dreadful we can only imagine it would be found in the deepest depths of India. That just makes no sense. Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter, the grim demise of the victim. How did this young man lose his life, and why? According to the data of which I've been apprised, it would appear there are no visible signs of injury. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom. Now, if we take that as fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime.
Oh no, could it be?
Yes, the examination of the deceased's body will prove the cause of death conclusively. The almost but not quite imperceptible puncture wounds left by the venomous fangs will seal the truth. There aren't any, Sholmes. It's the vestiges of the snake bite delivered by your terrifying friend.
This makes no sense.
There's no point feigning ignorance, Miss Pavlova. After the incident, you endeavored to hide everything, didn't you? But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right. You hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that traveling case. When you first met in this cabin, it came to my attention that your case moved periodically. Your serpent assassin was restless inside, no doubt.
You know.
He was telling that the victim made a notable low whistling sound that he heard minutes before his end. That was your signal, was it not? The sound you had used to train your serpent friend.
To train?
Indeed, you put the serpent to his ventilator and wait. After a period, you'd summon it back with a whistle. You couldn't know if the animal had done its duty. You would listen for signs of life next door. If the victim appeared not to have been dispatched, you released the snake once more. You denied the snake has undergone such training.
It's not true.
Having slid through the ventilator and down the bell cord, the creature needed only to sink its fangs in once. And its venom would course through the victim's veins, ending his existence forever. That is the true nature of the speckled band that took the poor young man's life. There can be no doubt. My logic is infallible. Oh boy. Let's conclude Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of the speckled band. Miss Pavlova has trained her pet snake as a killing machine. There on the floor, you will observe a saucer of milk. The promise of food is the key to training any creature. Incredible. You solved the mystery! Raynosuke, no, he didn't. Amazing. Your great deduction really lives up to his name. I see now why Herlock Sholmes has become such a household name. My dear man, it was nothing remarkable. As the Russians say, I could have done it with one left hand. You gotta break it to him, Sato.
Could I venture an opinion, Mr. Sholmes?
But of course, what's on your mind?
It's just about your deductions before. Things don't quite make sense to me.
I welcome questions as to my method. I will answer both loudly and proudly.
Oh, well, good. First of all, snakes are egg-laying creatures, are the reptile family.
You are well informed by them.
And reptiles, don't drink milk. It's really only mammals that like to drink milk, you see. So, I'm not sure it would be possible to train a snake using milk as a reward.
No matter. No doubt this would be some other treat to encourage your pet to do her bidding. Milk was merely an example. The logic holds.
Oh, there is something else. Snakes have no ears. Yes, I'm not sure it would really be possible to signal a snake by whistling.
But madam, what are the tales from Arabia? I've not heard the snakes that dance to the sound of a flute.
I think perhaps the performers play their music in time with the snake's natural movements.
Or just the snakes are following the movement of the flute, not the sound. Oh, I see. No hands, no feet, no ears. These creatures are so inept that to be practically useless. Don't take it out on the snakes, Mr. Sholmes.
There is one other thing.
You have more?
Snakes use the scales on their bellies to propel themselves. Though, I'm not really sure that a snake could manage to climb up a flat bell cord like the ones in these cabins.
They should try harder. Get good, evolution.
Please don't be angry with me, Mr. Sholmes. The point is, even if the snake had gone through the ventilator to the next door cabin, it couldn't have come back without help. What I'm trying to say is that there are a number of reasons why it's difficult to imagine the snake could have had a part in this.
You said your deduction sucked.
I think we need to step in and help again, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh no, you don't mean...
Yes, we need to modify Mr. Sholmes' latest deductions and turn them into the great ones they ought to be.
Alright, let's give it a try. Just what I was waiting for. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, right. So, cast your eyes down to your wrist again. What? You've done it again!
Your handcuffs are gone.
Where'd they go? Fear not, I shall see they're restored after our work is done. Now, everyone, let us begin. Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Take two. She does have a pained expression on her face.
Yes, that's true. Looks as though Kazuma-sama's death is weighing heavily on her mind.
But you're not sure Mr. Holmes has read her quite correctly, is that it? He's looking right at her hand. That's probably it.
Let's take a moment. And really look very closely at Miss Pavlova.
Ooh, that's a nasty scratch.
Oh, no, hold on, look. That looks like a very painful wound.
It looks like a scratch made by some kind of small animal.
Well, whatever scratcher doesn't appear to be around here.
Yes!
Yes, when he called us horde of it, the claw scratch marched with pain. Indeed, a simple observation reveals that the wound is fresh. Miss Pavlova, did you in fact receive that scratch sometime last night?
I think about the young man who died next door. I feel so sad. And when I am sad, the pain from this wound is worse.
It is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. So it's definitely not a snake. And if it drinks milk, it's probably like a cat. These things don't have any legs. And if that scratch came from the snake, she'd probably be dead too.
I like his little kitty.
Look at the photograph in this frame.
She's exceptionally beautiful, isn't she?
Yes, that's true. But personally, the little black creature she's holding that's caught my eye.
It's a little kitty.
Yes!
Without doubt, your friend is the little kitten we see before us. Yes, the scratch on the back of your hand makes that abundantly clear. Don't take credit for this, Sholmes. The whereabouts of this black kitten isn't clear. But what is clear is that you brought the animal with you when you ran away, didn't you?
Daka's my best friend. I couldn't leave it behind.
Daka would appear to be a Russian blue. And yet, that fact leaves us in a quandary. The victim's written observations on the night in question tell of a speckled band. But regrettably, the specimen's markings do not fit that description in any way. You know, I didn't even see that until she took it out of her pocket. Right?
Yes, boys like that are Mr. Sholmes' specialty. His ever so cleverly forced her to reveal something. Anyway, hard to believe that's the skin of a snake.
Well, it is speckled and is a band, but what is it? It's on a stick. That's a cat toy.
The bee may be a cat's toy. Sordid is common in the West, apparently.
How's that a toy for cats?
Cats like to chase the band around and paw at it. Kittens in particular love that sort of play. When you wave it in front of them, and he pounces to catch it.
That sounds positively adorable.
Yes!
Yes, the thing you're trying but failing to conceal is, a cat's toy. Precisely. And the true nature of the now infamous speckled band. And it was this toy that you dangled to the ventilator. You waved it around, I presume. Naturally, the victim could not fail to notice it. But why? What reason? My dear boy, there can only be one answer to that. After a feline friend disappeared through the ventilator into the neighboring cabin, Miss Hagova attempted to use the speckled cat's toy to incite the creature to return. Huh. In summary, the nature of this friend of Miss Pavlova's, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a black-tongued Russian blue breed of a cat, by the name of Darka. A truly troublesome feline young Darka is proving to be. He must be caged once found. You forgive us for borrowing the photograph of your pet, Miss Pavlova.
You must have to give her for food last night. This wouldn't have happened. He scratched the back of my hand and then ran up the bell cord. Before I could do anything, she had disappeared. To the ventilator. Gaga, she's so naughty.
Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter. The demise of the victim. We did all this. He just said there are no signs of injury.
What Mr. Shom says is true. There are no signs of a wound anywhere in Nazuma-sama's body.
That's right. Mr. Shom seems to be unaware of one very important detail.
Yes, it would seem so. Let's give him the information he's missing now.
Yes!
In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by the post-mortem report. Ah yes, I knew it was one or the other.
This necklace.
Indeed, breaking up the cervical vertebrae is fatal. Only that Goliath would be strong enough to survive that. Seaman Stroganoff isn't some immortal freak, you know. Hey, you got his name right, Ryunosuke. The jury is out. Anyway, we have found good authority that the victim's neck was broken. Now, if we take that as fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to permit the scene of the crime.
Oh no, could there be?
That would be such a terrible way to go.
It would have been a terrible act of misfortune that he broke his neck completely by accident.
Oh, yes.
It's rather hard to believe of Kazuma-sama, though. He wasn't a clumsy man.
Well, we need to fix this deduction somehow. Is there anything from the scene that could explain what happened? Oh, did he trip on this bell?
Yes!
This examination of the mark on the floor will prove the cause of death conclusively. This particular mark, so prominently visible next to the victim's body, is the positive shoe polish.
Shoe polish?
Indeed. Positively identified by a little analysis device I constructed, which I carry now as a matter of course. Beeswax, tallow, and dye were my results. The undeniable ingredients of shoe polish. And the color of the polish is a perfect match to the color of Mr. Sogi's lace leather shoes. Looking at this mark, it's not hard to imagine what happened. For some reason, Mr. Sogi must have caught his foot at that point on the floor and tripped.
Please, no.
Then, by a dreadful turn of misfortune, caught his neck against some immovable object as he fell to the floor. Suffering a fatal blow to the spine, the victim's vertebrae shattered. In an instant, he lost his life.
No. I don't know. I don't know anything about this.
Is that really true, Miss Pavlova? What about the evidence left at the scene where Mr. Sogi lost his life? Yes, the facts are as clear as day to me. You did all you could to conceal the incriminating evidence. And our involuntary glance portrays the hiding place you chose.
I don't believe it. This was someone merely tripped over and now he's no more? Can't be true. I refuse to accept it.
I know it's hard to believe, but the mark on the floor does seem to suggest that's what happened.
But...
And if this part of Mr. Shom's deduction is right, Mr. Lola is trying to hide some evidence that would prove it. You're in this cabin. Somewhere in the direction that she just cast her eyes.
Where, I wonder?
Let's have a good look around. The answer must be here somewhere. Well, the traveling case is empty.
This is a waste paper basket. Perhaps all the first-class cabins have them.
Well, Miss Pavlova only started occupying this cabin late last night. Presumably there's not much rubbish in there yet. Oh, what's that?
It's a broken piece of glass, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Looks familiar. Perhaps it's more than your mind simply playing tricks on you.
Yes!
That's right. You get the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that waste paper basket. Here we have a fragment of some intricate glass object, and it would seem... one that has a familiar air, in fact. Precisely. We found another piece of broken glass on the floor in Mr. Osogi's cabin. And as you can see, the two pieces fit together perfectly.
Oh no.
So, Miss Pavlova, should I consider what this tells us? Why would it be that part of this glass object, which is evidently broken at the scene of the victim's death, should be found in the waste paper basket in your cabin? You're well acquainted with this glass bell, are you not?
I don't.
I don't know, and that hush Russian accent of yours won't save you this time, you're a girl. Why? Because we have conclusive evidence linking you to the bell in question.
What?
Take it away, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes. The evidence linking Miss Pavlova and the little glass bell, that'll be...
Yes!
If you look at this photograph, you can clearly see, hanging from Darker's collar, the very glass bell in question. Goof has caught up with you, Miss Pavlova. The young man who lost his life last night did so after a truly inauspicious fall. And because of that fateful stumble, your absent feeling friend, Darka.
I couldn't. I couldn't tell anyone. I'm sorry.
That would be a terrible thing to put in an obituary. Why don't you tell us now, Miss Pavlova? What was exactly what happened last night?
It was a little after 1 in the morning. It was so late, but I hadn't had time to feed Darka, so I gave her some food. And then, all of a sudden, she scratched me and jumped out of my hands.
We do say that cats become very anxious and nervous in new environments.
She was so fast. She disappeared through the ventilator before I could stop her.
And that's how you acquired a rather nasty wound on your back of your hand, I take it.
Yes. When I read the rules on the wall, I knew there was not allowed Darka with me.
Yes, modern science suggests that animals can carry infectious diseases. It's precaution, really.
So I listened and listened, trying to hear if there was some noise in the next cabin. It was very quiet. I was sure if someone was there, he must be sleeping.
So at that point, you thought it safe to try to lure the kitten back again? By damming the end of the toy through the ventilator and into an adjoining cabin.
Darka always loves this toy, but it didn't work. Nothing worked.
My controller does this sometimes for no reason.
Darky's my favorite toy. I tried whistling to her softly, but nothing. She didn't return.
Cats have a propensity to remain hidden in the shadows when frightened.
Yes, so there was nothing else I could do. I just had to wait until she had calmed down. But then... I nearly passed out with shock. I heard her cry out, and then... Oh, it was such a dreadful bang. Then afterwards, nothing. It was totally silent.
On the appearance of the brown mark on the floor, it seems likely that what you heard was the victim stepping on the glass bell and tripping up. Yes, this word is a large vessel, but even she can pitch and roll violently without warning. If Mr. Asogi was already off balance as a result of the ship lurching when the kitten got under his feet, the combination of unfortunate factors could easily have caused him to fall over. What became of the kitten afterwards?
In the end, I managed to get her to come back through the ventilator.
Your doctor is nowhere to be seen.
I must have forgotten to lock my case. And now she's disappeared again.
Gracious, that cat is as insufferably restless as I am.
When I woke this morning, I heard that a young man in the cabin next to mine had died. But I couldn't bring myself to tell anyone what had happened. I was too scared. Scared that they would send me back.
Oh, hold on a minute. What about the snake? You're right, where is it? The snake isn't your friend, Miss Pavlova, then whose is it? Where did it come from? Wonder if it's such a dangerous creature doing on board this ship. Oh, I didn't say. Ricky is my friend. His name is Pirosko. What? The snake belongs to you. He escaped from cage when the emergency alarm sounded. I was looking for him. I did not expect to find him in here. But I was not permitted on board. We are at sea for 1 year. You won't be so long without a close friend, without someone who understands. But my dear burly fellow, a gargantuan venomous snake, surely you can appreciate the danger you're putting everyone in. No venom. Pirosko does not have venom. He is harmless, very long but very gentle. He is adorable, like Granny. It's venomous. Yes. Now he is hungry, so he is in that mood. But once I feed him, he will see big smile. And you feed him what? Milk, I suppose? Like this, they milk chickens, ridiculous. Snakes that drink milk are only in stupid stories. Pirosko eats mouses. Big, fat, round mouses. Oh, so. Is that what the mouse trap in the passageway out there is for? Of course. I was gonna catch my friend's favorite food. You okay there, Shums? He refuses to drink milk. He can't hear a whistle. He can't climb up a boat cord, and it's not even venomous. How the deuce did something so in-depth land a starring role? It's not my fault. I do not make up stories. Pirosko has nothing to do with this incident. I feel like we're not quite done here yet.
Miss Pavlova. I understand the difficult situation you found yourself in, and I do sympathize. But please remember this. A young man lost his life. If you're going to attempt to cover up your guilt with lies, then no matter what the circumstances, I cannot forgive you.
What are you talking about, Miss Mikotova? What lies? Miss Pavlova just confessed everything. It was just a series of unfortunate events, an accident.
I don't know great detectives like Mr. Sholmes. I don't have a gift for knowing the truth. But even I can see that was not the truth. Don't you agree, Mr. Naruto?
I confess. I was intending to let Scotland Yard deal with any outstanding issues on this matter. Oh. I'm only present here for a very specific reason. The truth is, you, Mr. Naruto, are simply a distraction. A distraction? I do hope you've not been finding your shackles too uncomfortable. Especially as you're on your wrist as a result of my intervention. I was rather hoping I could resolve matters before we made our next port call. You were, Mr. Sholmes? Yes, but I overlooked one important detail. The deceased young man was a very close companion of yours. Was he not? Yes. Kazuma was my closest friend. I owed him my freedom, even. In that case, we must follow this to its conclusion. No further distraction. You must uncover the real truth here, Mr. Naruto. Yes, whatever that may be. Alright, I'll see what I can do. Excellent.
Hey, Mr. Naruto.
So then, shall we begin? Yes. What we should ponder first. The victim lost his life in a cabin that was bolted shut from the inside. Was this truly an unfortunate accident? It was in fact no accident at all. That is what he must establish in the first instance. But we already established it, haven't we? I mentioned over the kitten that I climbed into his cabin via the ventilator. Tragic, yes, but still an accident.
Hold it!
Wait, let's just take a step back. It doesn't make sense if that's really what happened, does it? I'm going to have to ask you to spell it out for me, I'm afraid. The evidence is right there in Kazuma's cabin. It's undeniable. This death couldn't possibly have been a mere accident. Really? Let's show our hand, Mr. Naruto. Time to present the evidence. The interceptor proves unequivocally that the victim's death was no mere accident. The fact that it was covered up by him pretending he wrote something, I guess.
Yes!
The truth is clearly recorded in this photographic print. There's no way that Mr. Soyuki left this message on the floor. The script. It's Russian, isn't it? Indeed it is. The word written means wardrobe. I see what you mean. Most people leave a dying message in their native language. Japanese in this case.
But Maybe he was studying Russian. It is a simple language. He could pick it up very fast.
Girl, don't dig yourself any deeper. That's actually not the point. It makes no difference whether he knew Russian or not. Sorry, what do you mean? Exactly what I said before. There's no way that Mr. Sogi could have left this message on the floor. The reason why is clearly explained in here. Damage to the cervical vertebrae resulting in instant death. Instant death. Which means, as the victim fell to the floor, he couldn't possibly have written anything. Because he was already dead.
That's not the only reason either. There's something else we found in Mr. Asogi's cabin. I really know something that couldn't possibly have been in there. If what Miss Pavlova told us was true.
What? Another piece of evidence that proves this was no accident. In other words, are we talking about the bell path again?
Yes!
This piece of broken glass next to the mark on the floor. But that's the glass bell the kitten had around his neck. You already know all about that. It's broken in half and the victim tripped over the cat and fell. So we already have a satisfactory explanation, which is on that logic. Unfortunately, there's a very big flaw. A fatal flaw. What? If that's really what happened, then how did one half of the bell end up back here in this cabin? Huh.
Yes, remember that we found the other half of the glass bell in that waste paper basket. Would you care to explain that, Miss Pavlova? Oh no.
Both these pieces of evidence clearly point to the same conclusion. That when Mr. Asogi died last night in his cabin, there was someone else in the room. And that same person deliberately arranged the scene to disguise the truth, in order to cover up his or her own guilt.
Yes, there's someone else present in Mr. Asogi's.
Hold it!
You're wasting time. Someone else was there. Ah, of course, we know this. What are you talking about? Look at this footage shot from inside. There was no way you're not out. Oh, yes. And only other person in the cabin when young student died was you.
Yes!
I mean, yes, but no. It's true, I was in the cabin when it happened. You were shut inside the cabin wardrobe, to be precise about the details. But I don't know Russian. There's no way I could lift that her message. Not would have. There's no way you could have left that message, to be precise about the details. Would you mind? Forgive you, my dear fellow. As I was saying, the person in question wrote the word wardrobe in Russian on the floor. An attempt to incriminate me for the crime, even though I had been asleep in there the entire time.
And then, the same person picked up the broken glass bell that fell onto the floor. Here we're becoming evidence that would show how Mr. Asogi really died.
But why wouldn't this person have taken all the pieces of the bill away? Leaving half behind was always going to raise questions. Yes, well, It was past 1 o'clock in the early hours of the morning. The cabin would have been quite dark. A single small lamp suspended from the ceiling would have barely cast any light on the floor there. Little wonder then that the culprit failed to notice a fragment of the tiny item.
You all suspect me, don't you?
Hold it!
Seaman Shogunov. Nina is woman of sea. She is daughter of strong sailor. 2 years ago, they noticed her dancing skills and she went away to join ballet company. But before, she was dancer on this ship, a member of ship's band. We do not accuse ship's angel of being criminal. Ah, so that's it. You say that when young student died, Nina was there in his cabin. But that is not possible. I give my tooth. Well, this is all most interesting. Why would you give your tooth, Fred? How can you be so sure? You're a great detective, you should know. No goofy nice. Cabin bucket was bolted shut from inside. Nobody could go into cabin. Not Nina, not anyone. Or you want to tell me that killer can walk through locked doors? Yes, it's impossible.
Oh wait, I read about this in detective stories. People often tie thread around door latches so they can open and close them from the outside.
Are you stupid? These buckets are not bond doors. Certainly not. These are watertight doors, as one would expect to find on any modern steamship. Constructed of heavy steel with not a gap in sight. No threads or needles or magnets could have been used. It's how that we went over this.
No, of course not. I thought so too. Mr. Naruhodo suggested it earlier, so...
I'm tired of everybody in this ship right now. Now you, Hosonaga, you're an angel. The Seaman Shogunov has a valid point. The cabin door couldn't have been bolted shut from the outside. Not necessarily. I bet to you that I could bolt this cabin door without laying a finger on it. And it is very cabin. You can see traces of the method I have in mind having been used before. I don't believe it. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, I believe you know what I mean, don't you? One way does spring to mind, yes.
You really know what Mr. Jones means, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes, and so should you. Because we've seen it happen. Indeed we have. So would you care to do the honors, Mr. Naruhodo? Point out the telling sense and method that was used to slide the cabin door bolt across on the outside. But we're in the cabin. Or like how the books got knocked over. I guess that's what they mean.
Yes!
Look at the bookcase there. The all of the books and things on it have toppled over.
That must have happened when the ship made its emergency stop before.
Yes, that's right. It's a very powerful vessel after all. When the engines are thrown into the reverse, a violent jolt goes across the entire ship. Any small objects that aren't fastened down are bound to fall over.
I believe. Yes, it's what's known as the force of inertia acting on the objects.
It's a great big book of everything. Well, whatever it's called, it's the same force that pushed over those books in the bookcase. Also made something else in this cabin move. The bolt on the cabin door. It was very obvious just after the emergency stop that the ship made earlier. They come into this cabin not long before, and we hadn't bolted the door. But then... there wasn't anybody in there. Shout if you need assistance. Oh, it sounds like...
Sutra Hosonaga.
Flashback.
Oh yes. That's it. When the ship saw us suddenly, the wolf flew across and locked the door.
Yes, it's made of metal, but small and light enough to be moved by the ship's sudden change of speed. Or for force of inertia, if you want to call it that. Are you trying to say that last night, after Mr. Sogi was killed? Yes, this warrior made another emergency stop. When I woke up this morning and looked around the cabin, I thought it looked a little odd. All the books on the shelves had toppled over, and all the ornaments. It was almost as if someone had run their hand across the shelves and deliberately knocked everything over.
Oh yes, I remember that. And I stood them all up again, didn't I?
Then we came into this cabin and we were surprised to see the same thing in here. All the books and everything had toppled over, just like in Mr. Osoki's cabin.
Oh my.
Do you have anything to say about this, Miss Pavlova? Are you out of your mind? Is it Buddha who made this emergency stop? It does seem a little far-fetched. How could that possibly have happened? Unless you're saying that the culprit is actually someone from the engine room? Oh, it is simple enough. By hitting the button in the passageway outside. Use to trigger the emergency alarm.
Oh yes, of course. There was notice, wasn't there? Telling you to only press the button in times of emergency.
On dark nights when the fog is dense, the captain cannot afford to rely on the eyes of his lookout alone. Hence the placing of a number of buttons around the vessel to allow any crewman to raise the alarm. Sort of button one is almost compelled to press to satisfy one's curiosity. Wait, it was you? When the button is pressed, two things happen in the interest of safety. The emergency alarm bell rings, and the vessel comes to a complete stop. As indeed it did a little earlier today.
Mr. Sholmes? Maybe it wasn't you who...
As I always say, a button has but one purpose in life. To be pressed, whatever the occasion. How dare you mess with ship? Report you to Captain. You're in much trouble now. No, I'm sure all that can wait until later. Let's not overlook the fact that we have now learned a valuable lesson. When the vessel makes an emergency stop, the bolts on the cabin doors slide closed. So, what we must now consider.
Yes, it all comes down to one thing now. Last night after what happened to Mr. Osoki. Did the ship make an emergency stop? Or did it not?
You're idiots. Buddha is a huge ship with many passengers. If we make emergency stop even in the middle of night, there'd be chaos everywhere. What are your thoughts, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, it's certainly possible that some kind of emergency happened last night. We have evidence to support that idea.
Really? What evidence, Mr. Naruhodo?
Fascinating. Do show us, my good man. What evidence promotes the theory that some emergency gripped this vessel last night?
Yes!
Seaman Stroganoff, it's your duty to patrol the first-class area of the ship, isn't that right? No, it is correct. Why? In the ship's log here, this would be where you record the details of your duties. What are you doing with that? That is mine. You rather carelessly left it atop a little makeshift bureau in the passageway out there. But as responsible passengers, we took it into our care with the mind to return it to you later. I left it there on purpose. That is where I put it always. The point is, looking at what you usually record, you see that under normal circumstances, you write the phrase "nothing to report" every 30 minutes. But from 2 o'clock last night until the first light this morning, nothing was recorded at all. Nothing recorded in the log. Not this. Yeah, because nothing happened. But if nothing happened, you would normally write "nothing to report," wouldn't you? Indeed so. It tells that shortly after 2 AM, something happened. Here aboard the SS Buria. Something sufficiently significant to make you forget to fill in the ship's log, in fact.
Are you suggesting the ship really did make an emergency stop in the middle of the night?
Stop topping. If I'm perfectly honest, I find that a little hard to believe myself. Oh, why? Well, because something as major as an emergency stop really had happened. Maybe all of us would have noticed.
That's very true. Thanks to the emergency stop we experienced earlier, we all know what it feels like now. The ship lurched so violently, and the alarm bell was so loud. I can't imagine anyone just going to sleep through that, even if it happened in the dead of night.
Well, no, that's a good point. What of the throbbing? Sorry, what do you mean? Your head, man. The throbbing of your head since this morning. We have all suffered with it. Oh, yes. I have a headache, you're right. In fact, I haven't been feeling myself since I woke up today.
Where have I?
We've been drugged.
My head's been feeling heavy ever since dawn.
Yes, you've all been afflicted, haven't you? Just as I suspected. Tell me, Mr. Naruto. You boarded this vessel as a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, well, yes. Sorry. The stowaway class of accommodation doesn't usually include meals. What did you survive on? Oh, well, Kazuma looked after me. He was always happy to share his meals. So you enjoyed some of the whole roast chicken dish that was served yesterday evening, I take it? Yes, in fact, I had all of that. Kazuma wasn't fond of chicken. Oh really? But the victim didn't eat any of the chicken at all. That's right. He didn't touch it. Is that relevant? My dear fellow. Does that not strike you?
Mr. Sholmes, do you mean to say that there was something wrong with the chicken?
I do. No. The meal prepared for the passengers last night had been tampered with. Tampered with by an addition that was soporific, designed to induce a very deep slumber in those who consumed it. A sleeping drug? You mean whoever did this placed every meal with a sleeping drug so no one would notice the ship's emergency stop?
Mr. Naruhodo, of course that's not what Mr. Sholmes mean. What a far-fetched idea.
Precisely. Listing every meal of every passenger on board with a soporific drug would certainly be impossible. Unless, that is, every single member of the crew was a conspirator. What?
Mr. Sholmes.
Well, Seaman? I'm sorry to say that any more deception in this matter will get you nowhere. If you refuse to talk, there will have to be an inquiry made to the shipping company, of course. And in order for that to happen, every member of the crew, and the captain himself, will be hauled over the coals for aiding and abetting a renegade.
Please, no more. I will tell everything.
Eh?
I cannot make problems like this for everyone anymore.
These crewmen are your former comrades, I believe.
Yes. So when I decided to run away, I asked them to help me.
You all agreed to help. Yet we run together. We threw away everything. For fame in the ballet, Mother Russia. We wanted to help our angel. I don't believe it. You're right. He put sleeping drug in chicken last night. Yes, I remember now. I didn't know I was chewing on a lump of something strange and bitter at one point. Duh. We could make all drug, what do you say, dissolve? And you just chew through it anyway, Renosuke? At midnight in Water's News Shanghai, he brought our intro on board. He's helped by a comrade on shore with a small fishing boat. While all the passengers of the SS Warrior slept soundly. Thanks to the almost magical effects of the slumber-inducing potion that their evening meals had contained. So if that's what happened, many people awake on the ship last night. For the crew, people who dislike chicken, and didn't leave board a passenger, Miss Pavlova. And that means it would have been possible for you. You could have used the emergency stop trick to lock Cosmo's cabin door. How does that make sense? Literally every cabin door would have ended up locked in that case, and it would have been complete chaos. Oh, I wouldn't say so. What? Ah, of course. Just like us, all the other passengers would have eaten their evening meal chicken in their cabins. After which they would have been overwhelmed by tiredness because of the sleeping drug. What? And accordingly, all passengers were already in their cabins for the night.
Yes.
The overwhelming majority of passengers would habitually sleep with their cabin doors bolted anyway. And so not one of them would have found it remarkable to find the door locked in the morning. In summary, in order to fasten the bolt of a single cabin door on the ship, the culprit brought the entire vessel to an emergency stop in the early hours of the morning. You've talked a long time and said many things. What is point? The point is what I said earlier. There was somebody else present on the scene when the victim lost his life last night. Someone who left a message in Russian on the floor, and intent to incriminate another. Someone who tried desperately to hide the broken fragments of glass that would reveal the culprit's identity. And someone who abused the ship's emergency stop procedure in order to lock the door. All told, a busy night.
But... I don't know about any of this. I'm just a little girl.
You like to speak with your long English words and explain your clever ideas. But I am sailor, and sailors don't listen to long boring stories. We don't believe. Sailors like me, we trust only what we see with our eyes. A laudable trait. What? I am quite of the same disposition, my good man. Observation to me is everything. Mr. Naruto. Oh, yes? You hear it? That accusatory cry of guilt on the wind.
What? Accusatory cry of guilt?
Sorry, you've lost me. Proof of involvement, man. But you can't hear such a call with your ears. No, you must hear with your eyes. For observation is the basis of all deduction. What are you talking about? I believe the time has come. One final logic and reasoning spectacular to expose the truth. Oh, here we go. So, Mr. Naruto, your assistance if you please. With what exactly, Mr. Sholmes? With observation, my dear fellow. Just as I said. Of these two prevaricators. Observation?
If you remember, Mr. Naruto, we had somebody tried to fabricate evidence, don't we? Like tampering with the scene of Mr. Osoki's death. We're looking for some trace of evidence that one of these two were there when it happened.
Precisely. You're delightfully quick to grasp my meaning. Alright. Alright, I see what I can see. We're looking for a trace of evidence that shows someone else was there last night when Cosmo died. It's chunky arms. Oh, look at this. It's some kind of stain. In an unusual place.
Right. Looks like ink, if I'm not mistaken.
Ink. And look at the color, too.
Yes!
Human Stroganoff. You seem to have quite a large purple stain on the back of your white uniform there. Eh. Oh, yes, I don't know where the dirt comes from. But nothing particularly comes to mind about the stain. What are you trying to say? It would appear that the significance of this stain has escaped your attention, Seaman. Allow us to make it plain. It's a very large purple stain on the back of Seaman Shokunov's uniform.
And I think what made it is clear.
Indeed it is. So, Mr. Naruhodo, present the evidence that proves it. My pleasure. Alright then. The evidence that proves what that stain on the back of Seaman Shokunov's uniform really is.
Yes!
Yes, it's in this photograph. And the ink it shows. That's what caused the stain on your uniform. Ink. A rather unusual color of ink. Purple. Ugh. Ah, the penny drops. At last. Now you see the significance. The brochure on the floor next to the victim's body was written in purple ink. And stain on the back of your uniform is ink of exactly the same color. If the ink had been dry, it couldn't possibly have stained your uniform in that way. Which means you must have been present in the cabin, in the moment immediately after the ink was spilled. Alright, yes. It was me. I did it. Everything. I arranged everything in dead student's cabin to make it look like wardrobe man did it. Then I pressed button to make Brulia do emergency stop, and both cabin doors shut. I did everything so no one would respect our angel.
Please.
Don't worry, Angel. Let me do talking. It was after 1 in the morning. I was on duty patrolling passageway. Then our angel came to me. He was white like sheet.
Please, you must help me.
I went with her. The door to cabin number 1 was open. When I looked inside, I saw a student boy on the floor. What happened here?
Please, don't tell anyone. My little one. My little furry friend.
Everything that happened in cabin is like Intel told you. The kitten escaped through the ventilator into Mr. Soki's cabin. Then he tripped over and broke his neck when he fell to the floor. Yes, that is right. So after the incident when the cat ran away, Isabella then visited the cabin next to hers. Only to find his occupant lying lifeless on the floor. She said she was worried when she heard the sound of something falling on the floor. That's when she went to look. No, Angel. The door was not locked, so she opened to look. We already know what happened after.
There's just one thing, if you wouldn't mind.
What?
When you went to Mr. Sogi's cabin, Miss Pavlova, was he already there? Why?
I already told you. When you opened door of student's cabin and looked inside.
I was asking Miss Pavlova.
Well, Miss Pavlova?
No. Oh. Yes, that is right. I saw him. It was dark and he was wearing black, but he was on the floor, not moving. I was scared. I understand, and I believe you.
Are we done? Something very nearly slipped my mind. Oh, Mr. Sholmes. This photograph. Yes, I took this myself, you know. The cause of death was a broken neck. Therefore, the victim died instantly. And the unfortunate incident that precipitated this event, a kitten on which the victim stumbled. However, if those are the facts, there is one particular area in this photograph. It seems to me somewhat unnatural. What do you mean unnatural? What are your thoughts on the matter, Mr. Naruto? Oh, well. part seems unnatural. Besides this. Besides this.
Yes!
Very true. This is certainly peculiar, but it's not what I meant by unnatural, I'm afraid. That particularly crass detail was orchestrated by the culprit. I mean to identify another point.
Oh, I see.
Imagine, if you will, losing your footing yourself. In my opinion, if you landed as the victim appears to have done here, it would be most unnatural. I'm sure you'll reach the same conclusion.
On top of your arm, Mr. Sholmes. Thank you for your gentle guidance.
So, if you were to fall and try to catch yourself, I guess maybe his hand? I guess it would be weird if it was balled up into a fist.
Yes!
Alright, if he really fell due to an unfortunate accident, then his fist just doesn't seem quite right. The exact same thought occurred to me. In the fall, one's instinct is to open the palms flat. If you see the victim with his left hand tightly balled into a fist, almost you might say, as though he were gripping something. What do you mean? Assuming that I took the liberty of investigating the victim's fist a short while ago. You did? And what, pray, do you imagine I found there, my dear fellow?
Mr. Sholmes, show us, please.
Why, of course, my dear madam. Would I keep you in suspense? You totally would. This is what I found.
Oh, a crescent moon with a little gemstone in the middle?
Yes, you're quite right. A crescent moon. It's very pretty. Well, what does it tell us? It tells us nothing. Looks like it's some kind of tiresome joy. Observation, Mr. Naruto. That is the key. What? The truth is now tantalizingly close. This is the final clue. The last piece of the puzzle. So what does this little crescent moon mean? What significance has it? And observe. Find the answer with your own eyes. Let's get her back up.
She has such petite ears among that beautiful hair. Little pink shells.
Oh, what's that? There's something dangling down from her ear.
Yes, that's an earring.
Wait, look!
It's a crescent moon.
Huh. His chunky arms. They're meant to be pierced. Something attached to her ear.
This is called an earring. A little piece of jewelry.
An earring, is it? It really is tiny.
That's part of it is missing. Maybe it broke off. Now all that's left is the clasp bar attaches to the ear.
Yes!
Miss Pavlova, I noticed that on your ear. You know you have a metal earring, the decorated part of it seems to be missing. The little link holding it on must have broken, I suppose. What? Well, looking at your other ear, I noticed a crescent moon. Huh. Did you just pull that off her? That would have hurt. I don't believe it. Now, the missing crescent moon was found in the victim's clenched fist. Really, there is only one logical conclusion. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruto? Yes. Miss Pavlova? Mr. Sogi must have grasped that crescent moon and pulled it from your ear. Perhaps just moments before we fell to the floor. How did your ear not get torn off? In other words, last night in Mr. Sogi's cabin, you witnessed the moment where the victim fell with your own eyes. In fact, you're quite literally at arm's length from him. But then the question is, why did Mr. Sogi do that? Why did he pull your earring from your ear and hold it in his clenched fist during his final moments?
Oh no.
Angel? No one can protect you now. Please, Miss Pavlova, tell us the truth. Last night, what did you do to Kazuma?
It.
When I think about everything that happened yesterday, it was too much. Running away. Oh, shit. Her story.
Running away. The fishing boat in the middle of the night. Trying to climb onto this huge ship. And then, when I was at last in this cabin, I could relax after this horrible long day. Daka, wait! I can't believe it when she disappeared through the ventilator. I tried to call her with a little whistle. I tried waving her favorite toy. But nothing worked. Daka would not come back.
What are you doing here at this time of night, Inspector? Oh. I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine.
The young man from your country. He was very polite and kind. He helped me to find Daka, and he promised not to tell anyone. But then, when I had my friend in my arms again, and I was going to leave the man's cabin.
Just a moment. Sorry, but...
Oh, yes?
I'm sure I know your face. I've seen you somewhere before. Ah, of course. You're Nikolina Pavlova, aren't you? The Russian ballerina.
Huh? No, I don't know that name. My heart nearly stopped when he said that. He knew who I was. How could this man from land in the faraway east know a Russian ballerina?
Yes, I saw your performance in Japan. The beauty of the ballet made a deep impression on me. But what are you doing on the ship? I'm sure I read that your ballet company was performing in Shanghai at the moment.
Can't fool him. I have to tell him the truth and hope he doesn't tell anyone. I have no other choice.
I see. So you've run away.
Please, please keep my secret. Don't tell anyone.
Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here.
He's going to pull that cord. He's going to tell the captain. Why did I think I could trust him? Then it happened. Everything at once. That's only a second, but felt like forever. Wait, I shouted, and then Doctor jumped out of my arms and down to the young man's feet. And as he turned around to look at me, I pushed him. I don't even know why. I don't know why I did it. I was just so scared. And I had to stop him from telling anyone about me.
And that's when you went to fetch help. From Seaman Shogunov, who was on duty out in the passageway. I heard Nina cry out, and stood on the floor. I ran to her. She was standing at cabin door, shaking like a leaf. She looked at me and said,
Help me, Biff. If they find out, I'll be... Please, I have nowhere to go.
So you decided to help. And that's when you arranged in Cosmo's cabin to make it look like I did it. But no one would suspect the passenger in the cabin next door. Yes. I went into the cabin and looked around to make sure there was nothing to show Nina was there. And then I found a stowaway in wardrobe, still sleeping.
So you worked out a plan. To lay the blame on the stowaway.
I closed wardrobe doors and put back strange people sign. I dragged the young man's body to a good place and used ink that was spilling to write on the floor. I wrote "got the rope" so that person who found it would look inside wardrobe and find stowaway. And tell me, what the glass bell?
It was by my feet, so I picked it up.
I see.
But it was dark in the cabin. I didn't notice the other half.
The angel went back to the cabin, and I finished job. By pressing the emergency alarm button in the passageway? Yes. According to the SS word, did indeed come to an emergency halt a little after 2 AM. Thus enticing the bolt on the cabin door to slide shut, creating the locked room mystery. There's still one thing I don't understand, Miss Pavlova.
What?
Well, you said that you told Cosmo about the fact that you ran away from your homeland. And it's because you're worried he was going to tell the captain that you pushed him. Isn't that right?
Yes?
But even if he had pulled the bell cord and called for the captain of the ship, aren't you friends with every member of the crew? Why would that have been a problem?
It was what he said first that made me scared.
What did he say first? What are you doing here this time of night, Inspector? I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine.
The inspector was his friend.
Yes, meaning me. I was supposed to be acting as his bodyguard.
I thought that if police knew about me, they would arrest me. So before you could pull the bell cord, May I stop you for a moment, please, Miss Pavlova? It just doesn't seem to make sense. I mean, was Mr. Sogi really going to pull the bell cord? I don't know. Huh? What do you think, Mr. Naruto?
Well, I'm not Kazuma, so I can't know for certain, but he is a man of his word. If he told you he wouldn't give your secret away, then he wouldn't have done.
He was walking over to it. He was gonna pull the cord. He was gonna make them send me back.
Well, Mr. Naruto, today's work is not yet done, it seems. There is one more deduction to make. What? Another deduction? Yes. What action was the victim really about to take at that moment? Can we determine whether the young man's gaze was directed? Was considered the victim's location within his cabin. That's easy. I remember every detail about that room. I mean, yes, I spent quite a lot of time in the wardrobe, but still. That cabin has been my home for this entire war.
But this is how the cabin looked last night. Miss Pavlova visited Kazuma-sama?
Yes, it's exactly how it was. Are you ready then, Mr. Naruto? Yes. So when he turned away from Miss Pavlova, what exactly was Kazuma looking at? Said he wanted to get a second opinion.
Take that!
Considering everything that had happened last night, certainly it may have looked as though Kazuma was going to ring the bell cord. Yes, however. What is directly beside the bell cord? The wardrobe.
Wardrobe?
And more importantly, what was inside the wardrobe? The man's great friend, sleeping soundly.
Miss Pavlova, please, think back very carefully. What were Mr. Sogi's exact words last night?
Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here.
Another opinion.
Yes, but not from a member of the crew. No, Mr. Sogi intended to consult his close friend on the matter. See if between them they might be able to help in some way, no doubt.
Oh, no. Sadly, you can't know the truth for certain now. It's too late for that. But I wish you had made sure what Mr. Sogi was looking at. Things may have been very differently if you had.
Miss Pavlova, I want to thank you for finally admitting the truth. But, unfortunately, the truth is, a man lost his life because of what you did, and that will never change. You'll never forget that.
Sorry. Really, I'm so sorry. What have I done?
And so at long last, the mystery surrounding the tragic accident on the SS Buria was finally laid to rest. What happened to Miss Pavlova now then? Once she reached Great Britain, she'll be handed over to the British police at Scotland Yard. What about the fact that she ran away from Russia? Will the Russians try to repatriate her? Apparently the English detective can speak to the immigration office and sort all that out. So she won't be going back to Russia then? No, I don't think so. Even if she wanted to return in the future, I doubt she would be able to. She ran away, so now she's in exile for life. I see. I'm sorry. Even Shogunov? I want to help Reido, no matter what. But I didn't think about you. About how you lost a good friend. I will go with Lina. I will give myself to British police. That's kind of you. In the meantime, thank you for letting me go free again. Kasuma's death is like such a waste, but... well, do what you can for Miss Pavlova, won't you? Duh. Well, I'm afraid you need to pack now. We did arrive in Hong Kong tomorrow. As much as it pains me, I'm going to have to hand you over to the consul to arrange your passage back to Japan. Yes. So you should go head back to your cabin now. Very lonely in this cabin. Oh, what's that? Misato-san?
Naruto-san, I didn't know you had returned.
Oh, well, I haven't been back long. Inspector Hosonaga just told me I should pack. You know, need to leave the ship tomorrow and all that.
Still, can't believe this has happened. Can't believe someone's life can be over, just like that.
Misato-san.
I had such grand ideas for his visit to Great Britain. So many dreams. And now they've been cruelly taken away, just as he has. I thought I could never forgive the person responsible. But now we know the truth. It was just an accident. Just a silly series of mishaps. It's too much, Naruto-san. It's just too much.
Yes, I know. Is that you, Hosonaga?
Inspector.
Why My duty was to see Yosogi-san safely to Great Britain. But I failed, and caused his two closest friends great pain and suffering as a result. I've let everyone down. And I would do anything to make up for my terrible blunder. Nobody blames you, Inspector. And I'm pretty good now, Huh? Surprise, Mr. Naruhodo? What is the meaning of this? Oh, trifling matter. With that in my head, I think I should always picture you wearing those shackles. Without them, the balance seems all wrong. It's distracting. Sorry. So I decided to restore them. Full time take, shall we say. You are a stowaway after all. Mr. Sholmes, we're fucking grieving right now, do you mind? We do appreciate all your assistance. I'd like to thank you, from the bottom of my heart. Not at all, not at all. And though it's a little late, may I offer my sincere condolences. The loss of your companion is truly heartrending. I hope that you will be able to fulfill some of his aspirations in his honor. I'm afraid that won't be possible. We shall be disembarking at the next port, in Hong Kong. You have to return to Japan and make a full report about everything that's happened. Wait a minute. It's just me that has to go back, isn't it? Wait, I was the stowaway. The terms of the study tour were negotiated by the Departments of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. He has to be one lawyer and one assistant. Was to be. In the light of Mr. Soki's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead. My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. All you require is one lawyer, and the study tour can continue, surely.
But there's no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know another lawyer.
Qualifications, you say? Any qualifications obtained in your own country will be of little value in Great Britain, I'm afraid.
Oh, but...
Well, anyway, the voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourself another suitable lawyer.
Yes.
Mr. Sato?
Yes?
You think perhaps Mai might be able to do it? But you're not a lawyer, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, unless... Are you studying law? No, I'm not, but... I'm sorry. In that case, I don't think there's even a chance it could work. But as I said, there's still more than a month before we reach England's shores. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, I have much in which to study, to learn what I must to become a lawyer in Great Britain.
Mr. Naruhodo.
That's ridiculous. Are you seriously suggesting anybody could learn all of that in just 40 days? There's only one way to find out. I work my fingers to the bone, Inspector. Every single day. Will you let me try? And if by the time we reach Great Britain, I haven't learned enough to be recognized as a lawyer, I'll take whatever punishment is deemed appropriate. But why put yourself in such a difficult position? For Kazuma. He said that there was something he had to do in Great Britain, and that he would sacrifice anything to make it happen. He was passionate about it. I can't let all that passion just come to nothing. And anyway, it's for my own benefit too. I will become a lawyer. I have to. What do you say, Mrs. Sato?
I think it's a wonderful idea.
So, what does our bespectacled inspector friend say? Are you serious? One lawyer and one assistant. The numbers are indisputable. No, it's madness. Yet fascinating, wouldn't you agree? Fascinating? Duty and rules are all the dull routine of existence that we all live for. Give us interest. Give us fascination. Speak for yourself. Besides, qualifications are no measure of a man. What matters is his character. Nope. And you've witnessed ample evidence of this man's exemplary character today with your own eyes. From the early hours of this morning to this very moment now. Despite contending with the passing of his close companion, and despite the accusation of guilt, this man has shown resourcefulness, intelligence, and above all, courage. Very well. I'll think of a clever way to word my report to the Department of Justice. Inspector. After all, I did just make a promise, didn't I? I said that I'd do anything at all to make up for my shortcomings here.
Oh, thank you, Inspector.
If you'll excuse me, I must pay a visit to the captain's quarters, I think. I need to discuss what to do next and how best to make my report.
Are you really prepared to attempt this, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes, I'm going to try. I wonder, would you consider teaching me what I need to know? Everything about being a lawyer?
I'll be delighted to help you. I am a judicial assistant after all.
Thank you.
And, Mr. Naruhodo, I'd like you to take charge of this.
What? Me? Are you sure?
I'm sure what Kazuma-sama would have wanted. His name is Karuma. This great sword that's been in the Asogi clan for generations.
Very well, I accept. I'll treasure it always. So then, Mrs. Sato. It seems we'll be working together for some time to come yet.
It'll be an honor, Mr. Naruhodo. And for the next 40 days, I shan't grant you a single minute of freedom. You fill every spare moment with study.
Yes, that's exactly what I need.
But, before we begin, I have an earnest favor to ask of you, too.
Goodness, what is it?
Please throw me to the ground. 3 times.
What?
Gennaro doubted you. You're Kazuma-sama's closest friend. Of course you would never have done anything to hurt him. That should have been obvious to me from the start. But I allowed suspicion to get the better of me. No matter how I said I was feeling, it's completely unforgivable behavior.
No, you were in shock. You just found out about me stowing away, and the cabin door was locked from the inside.
No, I won't let you make excuses for me.
Whatever the circumstances, I should never have thrown you. Not just once, but 5 times.
Please, you must.
Take hold of me and throw me. Do it. Don't even think about it. No, no, no. I don't even know how. I've never thrown anyone in my life. Very wise, Mr. Naruto. Isn't as good one acquires without considerable training.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes. You forgot you were still here.
I observed your throwing technique several times with great interest. I confess I was most impressed. I presume that would be a form of Japanese wrestling?
Oh, well, in a way. It's not wrestling, but my own interpretation of an ancient jujutsu technique.
But apparently it's called the Susato takedown. Needs you have swimming to believe me. Oh, beguiling. I am a practitioner of combative art myself. I'm a somewhat accomplished boxer. I wonder if you'd be so kind as to instruct me on the technique of the wrestling throw.
Yes, I'd be honored.
Let us not dally. Demonstrate, my dear madam.
Oh, of course.
Sato?
Are you ready, Mr. Naruto?
Sato? Sorry?
As you can see, you throw from the abdomen.
Oh yes, arresting indeed. And that's where you turn the Susato takedown, is it?
Actually, no. That's the Susato squash.
I think I'm about to be the next one to get my spine broken. One more flashback. Karma? That's right. It's a private sword that's been passed down through generations of the Asogi clan. Can't believe you managed to get permission to bring it with you. I mean, taking a katana on a study tour is more than a little regular, surely. Japanese man's sword is his soul, Rinosuke. I can't be parted from my katana. Karma guides me. I truly believe that. Though its name compels this reader to slice evil in two. Not that you would need much compelling. On that subject. There's something very important that I have to do in Great Britain. And I'll sacrifice anything to make it happen. I'd appreciate you seeing it through with me. Of course I will. Whatever it is, I'll see it through to the end with you. I knew you wouldn't let me down. And not always the way. And that brings that case to a close. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. See you later. Court's dismissed.